Welcome to Caribbean Whispers by Renee. Long ago, when the world was still young and animals could talk, John Crow was not the bald-headed bird people know today. In those days, John Crow had the most beautiful feathers in the sky. His head was covered with shiny black feathers that sparkled like polished coal in the sunlight. His wings were broad and strong, and his tail feathers spread out like a fan whenever he flew. Every bird admired him. But there was one problem. John Crow knew he was handsome, and he never stopped talking about it. Every morning he would perch on the tallest cotton tree and shout to anyone who would listen, "Look at me! Look at my beautiful feathers! Surely I am the finest bird in all Jamaica!" The parrots rolled their eyes. The doves sighed. The hummingbirds simply ignored him. But John Crow didn't care. "I am better than all of you," he boasted. One morning he spotted Dr. Bird drinking nectar from a flower. "Dr. Bird," John Crow called, "why do you flap your wings so fast? If I looked like you, I would hide in the bushes." Dr. Bird shook his tiny head. "Beauty isn't everything, John Crow." John Crow laughed. "That's easy for you to say." Then he flew away, chuckling to himself. A few days later he saw Peacock strutting proudly through a meadow. Now Peacock was also known for his beauty. John Crow landed nearby. "Move aside, Peacock. Your feathers may be colorful, but my black feathers are far more elegant." Peacock frowned. "Must you always compare yourself to others?" "Of course," John Crow replied. "How else would everyone know I am the best?" Word soon spread throughout the forest that John Crow had become impossible to live with. He mocked birds with small wings. He mocked birds with dull feathers. He mocked birds who couldn't fly as high as he could. Even the wise old owl grew tired of hearing him brag. One evening the animals gathered beneath a giant silk-cotton tree. Monkey scratched his head. "What are we going to do about John Crow?" "He boasts from sunrise to sunset," complained Rabbit. "He insulted my singing," said Mockingbird. "He told me my feathers look dusty," said Dove. The animals groaned. Finally Owl spoke. "Sometimes pride teaches its own lesson." The others leaned closer. "What do you mean?" asked Rabbit. Owl smiled. "We shall see." A week later exciting news spread through the forest. King Eagle, ruler of all birds, announced a grand sky festival. Birds from every corner of the island would gather. There would be singing contests, flying contests, dancing contests, and most importantly, a competition to crown the most magnificent bird in the land. When John Crow heard the news, he nearly fell off his branch with excitement. "This is my chance," he cried. "Everyone already knows I'm the most magnificent bird. Now I'll finally get a crown to prove it." For days he practiced posing. He admired himself in ponds. He polished every feather. He even rehearsed his victory speech. "I would like to thank myself," he said proudly while looking at his reflection. The day of the festival finally arrived. Birds filled the skies. The hills buzzed with excitement. King Eagle sat upon a great throne made of branches. One by one, the birds displayed their talents. Dr. Bird amazed everyone with his speed. Mockingbird sang beautiful songs. Parrot entertained the crowd with clever jokes. Even Tiny Sparrow earned applause for her kindness and helpfulness. But John Crow barely paid attention. He was too busy imagining his victory. At last King Eagle stood. The final challenge will determine who receives the golden feather crown. The crowd cheered. Eagle continued. Contestants must fly across the island carrying a sacred clay pot filled with hot porridge. The bird who returns with the most porridge remaining shall win." The birds exchanged surprised glances. This wasn't just a beauty contest. It required patience, balance, and humility. John Crow laughed. "Easy. Not only am I beautiful, but I am also the greatest flyer." The race began. Birds launched into the sky carrying their clay pots carefully. John Crow quickly surged ahead. Soon he was far in front of everyone else. Looking back, he saw the other birds far behind. His chest swelled with pride. "Look at them," he shouted. "They can barely keep up." But because he was showing off, he wasn't paying attention. He swooped low. He spun in circles. He performed fancy tricks. Each stunt caused porridge to splash from his pot. A gust of wind hit him. The clay pot slipped from his claws. It shattered against a rock. The hot porridge exploded upward like a fountain. Splash! The steaming porridge landed directly on John Crow's head. "Cut off!" He shot into the sky screaming. The crowd gasped. John Crow raced to the nearest river and plunged his head into the water. The porridge cooled. But when he emerged, something was terribly wrong. The beautiful feathers on his head had fallen out. Every single one. His shiny crown of feathers was gone. In its place was smooth bare skin. The animals stared. The birds stared. Even John Crow stared at his reflection. "My feathers!" he cried. "My beautiful feathers!" No matter what he tried, they would not grow back. The hot porridge had ruined them forever. Meanwhile, Sparrow quietly crossed the finish line. She had flown carefully. She had not shown off. She had protected her pot. And she won the golden feather crown. The crowd cheered for her. Not because she was the prettiest bird, but because she had shown patience, wisdom, and humility. John Crow sat alone beneath a tree. For the first time in his life, nobody was listening to his boasting. Nobody was admiring his appearance. Nobody cared about how handsome he used to be. The wise owl landed beside him. "You seem troubled." John Crow sighed. "My beautiful feathers are gone." Owl nodded. "Yes. And everyone is laughing at me. Some are." John Crow looked down. "Why did this happen?" Owl studied him carefully. "Because you valued pride more than character." John Crow remained silent. "You spent so much time proving you were better than everyone else that you forgot what truly matters." "What matters?" John Crow asked quietly. "Kindness, wisdom, humility, respect. These things never fall out like feathers." John Crow thought about Dr. Bird. He thought about Dove. He thought about Sparrow. He remembered all the birds he had mocked. For the first time, he felt ashamed. The next morning John Crow flew across the island. He visited every bird he had insulted. To Dr. Bird he said, "I am sorry." To Dove he said, "Forgive me." To Sparrow he said, "You deserve to win." Many birds were surprised. Some didn't believe him at first. But over time they saw that John Crow had changed. He no longer bragged. He no longer mocked others. He no longer claimed to be better than everyone else. Instead, he helped younger birds learn to fly. He shared food when others were hungry. And when someone praised him, he simply smiled and said, "Thank you." Years passed. His head remained bald. It never grew its feathers back. And that, the old storytellers say, is why John Crow still has a bald head today. It serves as a reminder to every creature who sees him. A reminder that beauty can fade. Pride can lead to trouble. And those who spend all their time boasting may lose the very thing they are boasting about. Moral of the story: never be too proud or boastful. True greatness comes from humility, kindness, and respect for others. A humble person earns lasting admiration, while pride often leads to embarrassment and loss. And that brings us to the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an adventure. Thank you for spending your time with us, and until next time, take care, stay safe, and keep the stories alive.